Hey, everybody, Dave Hagan here. Today, I want to talk about making the best out of tough times. That's today on the Financial Wellness Podcast, Coronavirus Edition.
Welcome to the Financial Wellness Podcast, Dave's weekly message to keep you on your path to the financial success. Here is your host, financial problem solver and talk show host, Dave Hagan.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Financial Wellness Podcast, or the TFWP, as we like to call it. Wow, today we're coming to you from Van Nuys, California, Santa Clarita, California, Venice, California, Lake Arrowhead, California, and San Diego, California. So we're coming to you from all over California to give you something to listen to, hopefully that's entertaining and educational as well. Hey, who do we have here with us today? Look, it's Brian Reed.
How's it going, Dave?
I'm doing good. How's Venice today?
Overcast.
Overcast, yeah.
Where has the sun gone? Bring it back.
I know, huh? People are happier when it's sunnier. What can I say?
We need it.
Yep. And from San Diego, our announcer, Nick Appel. Nick, how you doing?
Hey, Dave. Always good to be here.
Good to see you. What's the weather like down in San Diego?
It is cloudy and overcast. What is going on?
You beach guys must be tough. Must be tough.
Oh, yeah. 75 degrees. I can't complain.
Not bad. And coming to us from Santa Clarita, our guest today, Daniel Rodriguez. Daniel, how you doing?
Hey, what's up, Dave? Doing good.
Good.
I wish I was at the beach like these two guys up in the penthouse in San Diego and some high-rise skyscraper penthouse in San Diego and Venice. That's the way to go, man.
It'd be nice. It'd be nice. All right, you just hold tight. We're going to get to you in just a minute, Daniel. Today, I want to talk about some coronavirus stuff since this is a coronavirus edition. You know, guys, we're at day 100 in this coronavirus thing. Congratulations or something.
It's been 100 days. Wow.
100 days. And I know people that have almost literally been in their house the entire time. I can't imagine.
That's insane. If I
mean, they
couldn't
had-
get outside to walk,
They had groceries dropped at the front door and they would like wait a day and go out and get them and stuff. I mean, it's like crazy. It's tough.
Oof. Prayers for everybody.
Yeah. And things are starting to come back. It's pretty exciting. Restaurants are starting to open a little bit, and nail salons are going to start to open up. I gotta get in for my pedi because my toenails look like Fritos corn chips. It's brutal.
I did not need
Dave.
that visual, buddy.
Too much
let's
info,
not
Dave.
let's not get back to too much too quick because we don't want to have a second run of this stuff, Yeah, we all got to slow down, people, just a little bit, seems to me. Just saying. So I'm thinking back over the last 100 days, and man, I've seen some tough stuff. I've seen people dying, a lot of people dying, a lot of people getting really sick. I've seen people losing their jobs with no emergency fund, or even worse, with a pile of debt. I've seen businesses that are failing, and businesses that aren't going to open because of the nature of their business for some period of time. Any kind of business that was relating to large crowds is not going to open for a while. Nail salons are just now opening. I saw a survey that said that 30% of the restaurants won't even reopen, the smaller restaurants. They just got hit too hard. I've seen people walking around the store with the grim stare. Remember, initially it was kind of quiet and hushed, and everyone had face masks and stuff, and it was grim. I've seen people fighting about whether they should wear a mask or whether the government can constitutionally force them to do stuff. I mean, I've seen some tough stuff the last 100 years. It seems like 100 years, 100 days. How about you guys?
Yeah, I'm on a similar page, Dave. I've always wondered though, why has it taken so long for nail salons to, you know, reopen? I was having a discussion with my family, and I believe, I mean, I've never had a mani pedi before. I'm not gonna lie, but I believe they wear masks anyway. I
Yeah.
mean, why take away from potentially these small business owners? I think the small business owners have been really affected by this whole pandemic, among other people.
Well, I think one of the reasons that they haven't reopened them is because they know that I'm out lurking in the general public with these
Oh,
nasty
your
plants,
Fritos.
my Fritos. But I think that one of the stories that went around initially was that this expanded initially through nail salons, and I think that frankly they got a bad rap. I think these are businesses that are owned usually by individuals or they're small businesses, and I think they're getting just beat. I'm just glad to see them coming back. Why couldn't they just put up a piece of plexiglass like a teller at a bank and you stick your hand through a slot or something, or um, visualize this, me sitting in a chair, sticking my foot through a slot. That's a pretty frightening looking visual.
Now I understand why they closed or stay closed.
But I
Dave,
think they
I was
got a
actually
bad,
driving. I was
yeah,
driving down the 5 the other day, and we
yeah,
passed Magic Mountain, the theme park that's there, and all the rides were quiet. And you start to think about all the workers that are not there. And then I also thought, wait a minute, look at all those restaurants that are right around and the hotels that are right around Magic Mountain. So everyone is being affected by this. Those restaurants, even if they are opened up again, where's all of their clientele? It's supposed to be going to Magic Mountain, and Magic Mountain isn't open yet. So
right. Think
this
of
is
all
brutal.
those motels and restaurants around like Disneyland Resort down there in Anaheim.
Yeah.
They've got to be getting just killed. But I got to tell you, at the same time, I've seen some great stuff too, and I want to try and focus on that a little bit. I'd love to carry that with me than all the tough stuff, although still be mindful of the tough stuff. I've seen people with a renewed sense of humanity, working together like, hey, we're all in this, together. We're going to sacrifice and we're going to get it done. I think it's one of the great strengths of our country. I've seen this commitment of the healthcare providers. I mean, unbelievable what our healthcare providers do. Working these long hours. I saw a nurse and she was just sobbing. She says, "Oh, they're telling us that people are going to be lined up on gurneys in the hallway, and we're trying to get rid of it, and it's going to be so bad. And I'm still coming into work, and I'm going to do everything that I can." And I mean, the commitment was amazing. I don't think I could have worked in a hospital during this time. I mean, one, that's not the kind of stuff that I do, but oh my goodness, brutal, just brutal stuff. So I've seen people really react in a positive way, and I think it's pretty cool. And because this is the TFWP, I want to talk about people that are trying to make the best in a bad business climate as well. I've seen some really thoughtful entrepreneurial stuff, and I thought we could talk about that for just a little bit. I've seen people on street corners selling masks. And when this first went down, I stopped. I went and got an extra mask or two. I saw a website the other day where there's all these people that have created like these funny masks that you can buy now and flip on, like a mask that's like a guy's chin with a big beard and a stogie sticking out, or animal masks that look like a dog snout, or all sorts of funny things. And I thought, that's clever. Get people to use masks, charge them a couple bucks, make a little profit, make the world a better place. I mean, I saw a person who had their wages reduced by 50% at where they were working, and they just kept their eyes open and went out and got another part-time job to supplement the one that they were still doing, and they're actually making more money now at the second job than the first. And this particular person was working like 6 days a week. I mean, really getting kind of tired. You can't work 6 days a week for a really long period of time, but working that extra day, making the cash while it was there to be made to take care of their family. I thought that was really cool. Looking for the opportunity and taking advantage of it. I saw people doing Instacart. I mean, not Uber, because I don't think Uber is doing too much right now. But these people were picking groceries for folks and delivering it to their house, and they're making $25 to $40 an hour delivering stuff with Instacart. I thought that was really cool. I saw a Facebook post where a college student had bought a machine that mists disinfectant somehow. And I've heard that when a market would pick up some coronavirus, they would have the whole place treated with a disinfectant mist. And this fellow was offering it to small businesses, and he bought a machine and he was working it, and he said he was going to do this until it was time to go back to school. I mean, what a entrepreneurial view of things. What a great way to do that. I mean, clever, resilient people. Again, part of the great American fabric, what drives this country forward and has led to our success. I mean, there's been some really great things to see if we take the time to not listen to all the yak on the media and look for the good stuff. How about you guys? Any good stuff?
I found that when I finally did get a haircut, and the woman who cuts my hair was just so happy to be back working again. And, we are a society of workers. We need to. It's good for our spirit as well. So, it was good to get back to the normal a little bit, and I like Dave, you were talking about those funny masks. I like the masks that just show people that are smiling. It's a smile.
Right.
Because we communicate so much non-verbally
right.
through our faces that you feel isolated from people. So at least if you see a fake smile, it's like, okay, well, 9 times out of 10, I'm smiling behind my mask anyway. So little things like that keep the spirit up and keep us moving forward.
Yeah, I was surprised at how much of our communication comes off of the lower half of our face. So when someone's wearing a mask, it's kind of hard to tell what they're saying.
Exactly.
That really surprised me. Really, really surprised me. How about you, Nick? Good stuff?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely good stuff, especially within the, entrepreneur world. I've seen, young kids, high school kids that are making the best use out of this. And, they're filling up, a little can, and, they're asking mom and pops and other companies if they can spray down, the shops. And, I love seeing entrepreneur, I can't even say the word.
Entrepreneurial?
Yeah, that one. Skills. And, it's just a beautiful sight to see, because you never know, who's going to be, the new CEO, because these people are more likely to become executives in the future than not. And so I love that spirit.
I think it's been great to watch people come up with a penure. That term, where'd that term come from? Penure.
The French?
I don't know.
No. Aaron Sorkin wrote it to The Social Network. Think about that. She said, "And what's your latest penure?" Well, that leads us to today's guest, Daniel Rodriguez. Daniel, he's been on the show before. He's a survivor, a hustler, a family man, certainly an entrepreneur. His current main business has been a security company, but he's also dealt with local governments many times over the years. And he's used that experience to kind of create a new business during this time. And I thought it was very interesting, and it would be interesting to have him come on the show. So welcome, Daniel. Welcome to the Financial Wellness Podcast again.
Thank you, David.
So you're up in Santa Clarita talking to us.
Yeah, I know, up in Santa Clarita in the desert town. I wish I had that breeze like some of these other guys in the show do. I mean, I'm kind of jealous here. So next time, maybe I'll do a remote from Hermosa Beach or something, or rent an Airbnb or something.
No, I like that. I like that. And I think you should. You should. Well, Daniel, tell us a little bit about your experience in local government. I mean, I've known you for a lot of years. I consider you a friend for all those years. And I know that in years past, you've done a lot of stuff with local governments. Tell us just a little bit about that to give us a sense of where you're coming from.
Yeah, so my background, Dave, as you know, I've spent about 25 years consulting in the law enforcement, public safety, emergency management arena within public sector, local government. And that kind of led me and gave me the experience and knowledge that I needed to move forward, start my own company, my public safety security consulting company. And then ultimately, it's been really good. From time to time, these cities and these agencies call me to develop policy, research policy, interpret legislation that's coming down the pipeline. A lot of that for grant funding purposes. All these government agencies, the smaller agencies, are strapped for cash. It's only the time that we have these major issues that come up or emergencies, pandemic. Obviously, this one we've not had in 100 years, where really a lot of motions, a lot of triggers a lot, state level, and federal level. So with that said and done, I found an opportunity, and I found an opportunity to really utilize some of that experience to help reboost the economy, specifically in my community. And for people and friends and family and business owners that know me personally, what could they do to kind of get back up and running? So
Right.
It was a good thing for me to do.
Well, so 100 days ago, you're just cruising along with your business. Your business didn't drop off. Your security and consulting, it didn't drop off with coronavirus, right?
No, it probably went tenfold with the coronavirus, and then having to work and consult for a particular city 7 days a week, 15 hours a day was pretty tough as well.
So that was the call that you got, huh? Where they called you up and said, "Hey, can we activate you for this specific issue?" And it was a coronavirus issue, wasn't it?
That's all it was. Yeah. It was straight the coronavirus. And they called me up one day and said, "Hey, what do you know about it?" I said, "I've been tracking this for since last year, probably later part of last year." And so ultimately, my entire job function was to respond to the pandemic, how we were going to push out the information to that local government staff, everything from telecommuting policy to having 50% of staff work from home, other 50% on, just in case someone was exposed. You always had a fresh crew to come back in. It was creating that response plan trigger to get those balls in place. Everything from the proclamation end of it, declaring a local state of emergency, because like some people don't know, if these smaller cities don't declare a local state of emergency, they're just losing out on potentially hundreds of millions of dollars that they can get at a later date.
Wow. So they brought you in, plugged you in to help them roll out their response to coronavirus.
They specifically helped me to be in charge of the entire response for the entire coronavirus for that particular municipality. Yes.
Wow. What was it like? Were you busy? I bet you were.
Oh man. The thing about it is it was so in flux that it was changing by the hour. Everything was coming down the pipeline by the hour. And keep in mind, the stuff that we had access to, we're getting stuff sometimes hours to days before the general public. So when you're getting classified emails and classified statistics, you're on the behind the scenes going, this can't be real. And it's as real as it ever is going to get. And not in my lifetime did I ever think I was going to come across something like this, but because of my experience, I was able to adapt to it. And the most importantly thing was how we were going to how that city was going to keep their infrastructure in place, and then how they were going to get that message out to the community with limited resources that they had. Social media obviously was their biggest tool. So I'll give you an example. Their social media following went from 30 or 40 or no more than 100 people to almost 3,000 people within a matter of days. So when you're throwing and you're getting that kind of hits, those kind of likes, you're creating a buzz. You're creating some type of momentum there. And it was something that was really unheard of. But it was very exciting because it changed by the day. So I gave the direction, I gave recommendation, and they went forward with it.
Wow. So they were sending you this stuff a couple days in advance so you could help them plan and advise them as to what they needed to do, huh?
Absolutely, man.
And so you've seen this stuff, and I don't want to know about any confidential stuff, but let me ask you this. It seems to me like we dodged a bullet.
Big time.
Wow, it could have been a lot worse, huh?
It could have been probably 50 times fold over worse than it ever seemed to have become at the
Right.
surface. My personal opinion, and I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor. I don't think this is going to be the end either. It's definitely not going to be the end.
You think it's going to be reoccurring or lapping around from time to time?
I have a very strong feeling that it'll come back in the winter. It'll come back like a tsunami on steroids.
Wow. Well, you know, we have a saying here on TFWP, do the social D to avoid the Corona V. Still important?
Very important.
Yeah. Tell us about this new business. So now you're consulting with this company, you're working all these hours, you're helping them roll out their stuff, and it occurred to you that you've got some unique expertise. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so there's a local Starbucks right here down the street from my house, and you know, a lot of my neighbors and friends and stuff. It's kind of our social meeting place, and like most Starbucks are. And one day the district manager, her name's Andrea, comes out and she goes, Daniel, can you help me with something? And I said, yes. She goes, I know you have the experience, but how can we sell coffee at this front area and not have a drive-through that's blocking the bank, the gas station, the supermarket, the donut shop, and another restaurant? All the main entrances to these businesses are being blocked due to that traffic jam for people to get Starbucks. It must be 75, 100 cars deep, nonstop. Wow. So I said, well, it's very simple. There's protocols and there's appendices within the county health law on different phases that you can open if you follow these guidelines. So I helped her, told her what she needed to get, how she needed to get it, came out there, helped them tape down the floor, told her what she needed to do. She's looking at me going, you must be crazy. I can't do this. We can't do it. I said, then if you can't do it, then you're going to keep your door shut and you're not going to have that front door access to be able to even give coffee based on the mobile app purchase or someone that's just going to walk up. So everything to getting a little doorbell at the front. So they got the doorbell, they did all this. And she sat there one day, we're having coffee. She goes, Daniel, you got to help other businesses do this. We're Starbucks. We are the coffee chain in this nation, this country. So then she goes, I'm putting you in contact with Starbucks Corporate. Starbucks Corporate, I talked to them and they were just blown away on what that protocol process would take and how it would look at all their stores. So then ultimately some other businesses that I knew, friends and family, started calling me that have businesses. How can we do this? How can we do that? And how can we do this? So I took it upon myself saying, listen, I've been helping a public agency, public municipality, and have over 20 something years of experience handling crisis like this, not specifically to a pandemic, but on the emergency management level. Why not create some type of entrepreneurship out of this and really help people and really be available for people? And let it be known, my consulting business on this aspect of this business came to Horizon and has just taken off like you would not believe, man.
So the light bulb went off and you said, hey, I can provide this service and this helped different companies. And this is an area of expertise that I have.
Yeah, you know, the light bulb went on, but most specifically, keep in mind, not only did I feel I'm trying to reboost the economy and have them come back, it's just I'm giving it to them in basic elementary school terms. They don't have to read 700 pages of documents. They don't have to read 18 to 25 pages of public health orders, and they're looking at the public health orders going, oh my God, this just said this just said that, what really changed on it? So I've broken it down very simple. If you're a liquor store, if you're a restaurant, if you're a coffee shop, if you're a supermarket, if you're the barber, etc., tell me your business, tell me where it's at. I do a virtual assessment or a physical assessment, and then I give you a list of 10 items that you got to put together to get back up and running.
Wow, you sent me one of those appendices by email a couple of days ago, and I looked at that, and my eyes just glazed over. I mean, all these different, and it's written by government people, so it's in a different language almost. I mean, it's brutal.
Yeah, well, when I send this over to people, they call me back going, Daniel, we can't comply with, at the first glance, they look at the items. We can't comply with every single checkoff box that we have to check off. I said, oh, hang tight. Take 5 minutes and read every single box, then call me back. And when they call me back, they say, oh, you know what? We can do this.
Yeah.
Because you're just looking at it going, we're never going to be able to do this. It can be easily done.
Yeah, and it's critical that people comply as they reopen, because otherwise the police department, the health department's coming around, they can get re-shut down. They can contribute to another wave of coronavirus. So they really need to comply. Even if they don't think that they should be doing it all, you still got to do it if you're going to reopen. It's got to happen.
Yeah, you know what? It's got to happen 100%. And to add on to that, my service that I'm offering is kind of a monthly subscription. So they subscribe. There's a flat fee they sign up for. Then there's a monthly subscription. But that monthly subscription allows them unlimited phone calls to contact me. And they end up contacting me. And then when they contact me, they at that point they may have questions. For example, Buffalo Wild Wings called me up and they said, hey, we just had an exposure case. What do we do? They said, oh, Daniel, this is what we want to do. We only want to send 2 or 3 people that were on the schedule home. I'm like, negative. You shut down the store. You advise everybody you had an exposure. You have them self-monitor. You don't test anyone right now. You have them all self-monitor 3 to 7 days, come back 10 days later, reassess, and open up. And they thought I was crazy. 2 days went by. They called me back. They're like, Daniel, you were right. Well, you just lost 2 days because you thought I was crazy.
Yeah. But you've had the experience dealing with this. You've had the experience dealing with entrepreneurs. You are an entrepreneur, so you're able to talk their language. And from what I'm hearing, you do it for basically a flat fee.
I do it for a flat fee.
A flat monthly fee. Now let me ask you this: are you busy?
Oh, it's crazy. Yeah.
Let's do this. Let's have you back in 3, 4, 5 months and see how this business is doing as you kind of, because it's relatively new at this point, right? I mean,
it's relatively new, but the big picture of this business opportunity is really to look at the structure and what structure that I want to go with. And the route I'm going with this really is I really would like to focus on the larger chains that have really got hit by this. And I'm talking Starbucks was closed for many, many days, lost almost, I think I read something that said somewhere along $75 to $100 million. I mean, that's a lot of coffee. It's a lot of coffee cups there, and those Starbucks, for me in general, you put one in a shopping center, it creates a buzz, it creates a flow. It's like empowering. So what I'm really looking at the big scheme of things is trying to help these larger venues, larger corporations, and some of the ones that I've been contacted by, you tell them the guidelines, you tell them what they have to do. These are not my guidelines. These are guidelines they got to follow by the health department and by CDC. Right. I'm just streamlining it for them. Right. To trying to break it down for them,
Right. You're condensing, you're consulting, you're helping them implement what rules have already been put out by the various governments. Hey, will you come back in a couple months and tell us more about this?
Yeah, I'd love to, Dave.
All right, well, let's sum it up for just a minute here. I think it's been pretty darn tough the last 100 days, but there's always a silver lining. And I think we can learn a lot from watching how people react to this adversity. People like Daniel, people who are especially people that are entrepreneurs, how they react, how they look for opportunity, how they look to help. Something to think about for our listeners. Are there any opportunities, business opportunities out there for you? Something to think about. Wow, I think that's a wrap for today. Thank you to our special guest, Daniel Rodriguez. Thanks, Daniel.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, thanks to Brian Reed. Thanks to
Dave.
Nick
It's been
Appel.
great.
Appreciate having you guys here
Thanks, Dave.
from all over the state of California. What a gas. Stick with us. We got some interesting emails that we've been holding now. And I think we're going to do a show just on a couple of emails coming up. So stay listening. Check it out. This is Dave Hagan, and you've been listening to the Financial Wellness Podcast.
You've been listening to the Financial Wellness Podcast, Dave's weekly message to keep you on your path to financial success. If you have a question that you would like Dave to answer on the podcast, go to thefinancialwellnesspodcast.com. You can leave an audio message with one click of a button, or type your message into the question box. Either way, it's sent right to Dave's phone. Remember, Dave will randomly draw from the submitted questions and pick the winner of a free 1-hour personal conversation with Dave to help you achieve your financial goals. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast so you receive the new episode notifications, or share the podcast via the app with your family and friends. This is your announcer, Nick Appel, wishing you every financial success.